Hey, welcome back to the shop. Today I'm going to start on a simple little cleaning and preservation of a Bell Systems tool that I found. Let me show you what I have. What I found is this Bell Systems cable splitter. It's got a leather sheath with brass, I think they're brass rivets. As you can see, it says Bell Systems, and it is a Utica, 3-diamond Utica. The blade needs some repair. It has been damaged. Other than that, it's relatively sharp still. I'm going to have to take quite a bit of steel off of that to fix it. I'm wanting to fix this, not to split cable or anything, but I think it would make a nice addition to my leather working projects. I have seen a lot of these at flea markets. Sometimes they don't have a sheath. Sometimes they don't have scales at all. Sometimes they're missing a scale, sometimes they're wooden scales, but this one's complete. It has leather scales. Like I said, it looks like brass rivets holding everything on. But the one thing that I found interesting, and if anybody knows anything about sheaths, this has a welt. And usually the welt protects the blade from the rivets. It also protects the stitching from the blade if there's any stitching. But for some reason, the way this one's put together, the welt is on top, so this blade is actually riding against the rivets, which is not cool. I thought maybe the person that had been using this had just put it in wrong all these years. But when you try to put it in with the blade against the welt, the way it's designed, there's absolutely no way that this retaining strap would actually snap into place. So I don't know if it was the welt was put on the wrong side at the factory or what's going on. I've seen a few pictures online of other complete cable splitters, and their sheath is designed the same way with the welt up top. I just found that very, very odd. So basically, I am just doing a cleaning, something that I would have done to the tool if I had received it before I started using it. I have to go a little bit further because I'm kind of repairing some stuff. A lot of people don't think about what their tool is going to look like in 6 months or a year or 20 years down the road if they don't maintenance it and keep up with it or protect it from the beginning. I'm going to go ahead and put a protectant on the edges, burnish them, help them look a little bit nicer and protect them. I'm going to do the same thing to the scales on this cable splitter. I may go ahead and wait on doing that because I'm going to have to clamp this in a vise and get a file after it to reshape the edge. Yeah, I'm going to wait on doing that because I don't want to mess them up. So that'll be last. My next process is going to be to reprofile this edge. It's really chewed up with a file, and then I'll hit it with some stones and possibly some sandpaper to get it to a really nice sharp, or to a razor sharp edge. This is going to take a lot of work, so I'm going to go ahead and reprofile it, get it closer to where it needs to be, and then get back with y'all. So I decided to go ahead and skip the stones. I think that the files and just working my way up in grit on sandpaper is going to be fine enough. Right now I'm at 1500 grit. I started, I did the files, and then I started, what was it that I started at? I started at 240 to get rid of the file marks, and then I've worked my way up from here to polish this edge up. Guess that really doesn't tell us anything anyways, is I'm not going to be cutting paper. You just got to hold your mouth right. I'm not cutting paper. I got scissors for that. Let's see if it works on the leather. This is 14 to 16 ounce leather. It's some scrap that I have. Let's see how well it does. Tell you what, it does not feel comfortable in the hand to do that. It's one of these deals where it is not comfortable to use this way. I will just be restoring that tool and not using it for leather projects. I will just continue to use my skiving tool to split and cut leather. I purchased some Scotch-Brite wheels for my Dremel. I've used it a couple times, but never really been impressed because they seem to deteriorate really quickly. But let's see how well it works on polishing up. Oh, that's nice. That polished that up really nice. Wonder if it'll kind of help buff out the leather. Well, hey Zoe, how are you doing? No, kitty. If it's not the dog, it's the cat. It's not too bad. I'll go ahead and continue with that on the rest of this and on the sheath. I could just clean them up, but because some of the others are missing the plating, I want it to look like they're all the same. Man, my dog and cat are going to knock over the tripod here in a minute. They're on a tear. They're chasing each other around the shop. I know that this camera angle's got to be weird. I'm just going to roll with it and hope that y'all can see what I'm doing. Now I'm just going to burnish the edges on the sheath. I'm applying the token oil directly to it instead of using that squeeze bottle like I've shown y'all before, just to show y'all that it's not that big of a deal. I don't have any water to add to it at this moment, and I don't feel like going and getting any. It's not going to be necessary because I'm not going to go for an ultra high polished shine. So try not to get it on your finished leather on the flesh side because it will stain it. Get it off quickly, it's not a huge issue, but try to get all of it on. Hope y'all can see what I'm doing. Get it on all of the edge that you're going to burnish. Just rub it back and forth. Not a whole lot of pressure. It's friction building up heat. And if y'all have got more questions about leather working, I've got a couple of videos out that go over leather working. You can actually apply this. I like applying it to the rough side of the leather, and then using a sticker tool or a piece of glass. You can use a spoon, whatever you got on hand that's rigid, and you can burnish that edge so that it helps it from coming apart on you, especially when it's really rough like this is. And I'm going to grab this burnishing tool. That's going to help me get in the corners here to get this edge as best as possible. There's no way that I can get all the way in there. I can't even get all the way into the corner or the seam where they meet together. I'm going to show you here, but I can rub this back and forth, lay all those fibers down, just make it a little bit nicer. On this portion of it, when you're doing the edges, it's not really pressure. This, I've found, if you're trying to burnish the inside of the leather to make it the fibers lay down, it is more of a pressure deal. You want to get friction back and forth to help it gloss up a little bit, but to lay those fibers down, it is definitely pressure. All right, the last thing I'm going to do is apply some need's foot oil to the leather to help moisturize it, and then hit it with a clear shoe polish and buff it out. And I think the project will be done at that point. Some of these little nooks and crannies, I'm just going to put it in by hand. It's going to be a little easier for me to get it in there. But it's just, again, moisturizing, hydrating that leather, giving it life again, keeping it supple. There's some other products that I want to try. But this is just stuff that I've had forever, so I need to go ahead and use it up before I buy new stuff. But Obenauf's is something that a lot of people have recommended that I try, and I do want to get that. So if you haven't bought any leather working stuff yet, and you don't have this stuff on hand, you might want to try Obenauf's. So just look at it, it's just absorbing that need's foot oil. Look, it's just absorbing in front of our eyes. And that's what you want. Just gonna apply some more until it stops absorbing. Conditioning oil, hue. Oh, this isn't even shoe polish. This is more of a waterproofing leather nutrient. This is basically paste form of need's foot oil. I don't have any clear shoe polish. I kind of wish I did, or I'd put it on there. There it is. I think it cleaned up pretty nicely. It's nice and protected and will last a long time to come. I'm pleased with the preservation. I think it turned out nicely. Like I said, it's a bummer that I'm not going to be able to use it for the leather projects, but I've already got tools for that, and I was just hopeful that this would be all right. It just doesn't let me have the precision and doesn't feel right in the hand for cutting up leather, and that's cool. I really don't care. What matters to me is that I have a tool now that I know that my grandfather and my father have probably used in their career. Not this specific tool, but they've used one like it. Well, thank you for coming along with me on this. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. It helps out. And until next time, get out there and save something from being forgotten and live a big life. Again, the place that they put this welt makes absolutely no sense to me. And if y'all know why they did that, let me know in the comments, because I've always known the welt to protect the stitching and rivets from the edge and to protect the edge from the rivets, but they've got it in completely backwards. And this edge is not protected from anything.